Hey, good afternoon, everybody, or maybe good evening or good morning. So, the last couple weeks, been doing workshops, or doing the workshops. I've been thinking about something for my Patreon group that I would like to talk about to kind of give you a little bit of insight sometimes how my thinking goes. So, I naturally think the first thing that I always think about is temperament, drive, and characters of a dog, right? And I think that's probably the influence coming from my Shetson background. So, I want to talk about the one drive right off the bat that we use the most in nose work. All right. So let's talk prey drive. Ta-da! All right. So what's this all about? I'm gonna talk about scientific definition, kind of give you the fancy definition of it. Probably give you a little bit of layman terms. I'm gonna give you the three components of prey drive. Then I'm gonna talk about its relationship in nose work, and then the ultimate marriage of prey drive, which is pairing, and then one last little section that's a little bonus section. I'm going to talk about getting the most out of prey drive, right? Some things that I've noticed in reference to how I have noticed probably the when we talk about prey drive, talk about the part that's probably the weakest amongst our dogs, right? So anyhow, so let's jump forward. Scientific definition. Prey drive, the instinctive inclination of a carnivore to find, pursue, and capture prey. The term is chiefly used to describe and analyze habits in dog training. All right, so it's actually used a lot. In layman's terms, it's instinctual inherited behavior from the dog, right? So in layman's terms, it's like the desire to chase and capture, chase, capture, manipulate. Okay, chase, capture, guard. Right? There's all those things like chasing the squirrel, chasing the car. Those are all signs of prey drive, right? So, and there's if you do a little bit more research, you're gonna find that they probably actually break it down. Some people break it down like into five components, which is to seek out, to pursue, to capture, consume, etc., etc. There is some more in-depth definitions, but generically, it is the desire to chase, capture. Okay, generically, that's the kind of easiest way. So there is three main components of prey drive. You have the pursuit or chase, you have the capture, bite, grip, whatever you want to call it, and then you have guard and possession or guard and possess. So those are like the three main components of prey drive. And just genetically, those are normally the amount of prey drive and those parts are dictated. The value is dictated by genetics, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in reference to so forth. All right. So, what's its relationship in nose work? How does this fit in with nose work? All right. So, pursue and chase. We normally think of this chase as the dog running after the prey object. Good example of that. And it's crazy. I asked for some videos about Fast Cat. I cannot believe how many people in nose work are involved in Fast Cat. It was really cool. I saw some really different sides of dogs that I'd not seen before. But Fast Cat's a great example. Or back in lure coursing, or if you have in a sense some of the terrier groups like have go on the ground and stuff like that. That's all examples of prey drive. Now in nose work, when we think about the three parts of prey drive, we have the pursuit, capture, and guard. In nose work, the pursuit now is the hunting behavior. And I'm sure somewhere in your time someone said, oh, he's got really nice hunt behavior. Well, that is the first part of prey drive. So, the second part of prey drive, the capture and grip. This is actually biting the rabbit, or an example of Fast Cat, gripping the bag or grabbing the bag, right? In nose work, this is actually finding the hide. This is in reference to them finding the hide. Okay, so then the other part, when we continue on here, the third part of prey drive, which we don't really see a whole lot of this surface in nose work, unless you have a toy dog, it might show up that way, is guard and possess. It's keeping the rabbit for itself, or maybe taking it to bury it, not giving it up, or in the context of fast cat, not giving up the bag, right? Just basically, I've heard people say, "Oh, I almost have to choke my dog off the bag." That's great. That's good possession. That's a more balanced part of prey, right? So, and in like in nose work, because most dogs are not toy dogs, and they've found the hide and they move on. There is not normally a manifestation of possession or the guard portion. Sometimes it is if you have a toy dog, it does surface. All right, here's a perfect example of pursuit and chase, and there's even a nice example of the capture. Look at this. Look at this. Boom. Nice capture. Boom. Nice capture. Isn't that just awesome? Nice little dog. That's Casey. Thank you, Lynn, for sharing that with me. And there was so many good videos. So many good videos. It was amazing the amount of videos. Okay. So that's an example of something outside of nose work, right? That is a good example of pursuit and capture. Now, let's think about a nose work. Capture again. All right. Here's another example. This is in relation to nose work. So this is actually, let's see if I can pause this here. I'll give you a little backstory. This is from starting imprinting my young dog Molly. I'm using the pursuit into hunt. So I'm triggering the pursuit, the chase, the ball's being thrown, and then I'm triggering the hunt behavior, the pursuit via nose, okay? This is all pursuit, using her nose for the pursuit. Several examples of pursuit. Here I'm holding her back, not letting her go, so I could get a little more pursuit out of it, a little more energy. I think we need to fire the video guy there. Good example of air scenting there, air scenting the detailing. So that's an example of in reference to the nose work here, right? So nice. 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 Okay. The ultimate marriage of prey drive within nosework is pairing. Once the dog is stimulated and the prey drive has been triggered, the dog is now working out of an instinctual drive and enter the cycle of prey. This is, I don't know how to say it. So you have two types of training always. You have classical and you have operant. Classical is instinctual. It's instinctual. Operant is not instinctual. It is actually voluntary from the dog. So in classical conditioning, the behaviors that surface are stimulated by something, are provoked by something, and those are natural instinctual behaviors. Think about it. You never had to chase your dog. You never had to train your dog to want to chase a squirrel. Most people said the first time they've ever done fast cat was at an actual run or a trial, right? So that's all instinctual behaviors. The dog didn't have to learn anything. The dog was stimulated by the squirrel running. Okay, so once we have by pairing and bringing pairing into nose work, what we've done is we've actually really put the dog into the cycle of prey, and we have pursuit, capture, and consume. The consumption of the food is as if they've caught the bag finally. It is a completion of the cycle of prey. It is ultimate way of getting the most out of your dog as far as hunting. Right? I'm not saying that you can't do it through other means, and some natural prey drive is going to kick in a little bit. But this way, when they actually consume or get the treat, it is a cycle of prey. And in return, they are working 100% out of instincts at that point. Now, there's going to be some bleed over of operant eventually in parts of it, but the initial part where they're stimulated and when them consuming and actually getting source literally comes out of instinctual behaviors. It is so powerful. So powerful. So, when I think about getting the most out of prey, first of all, I definitely believe in pairing, and anybody that's been around me very long knows that I really think of pairing like you should pair 95% of the time, okay? The only time I really wouldn't pair is maybe a little bit before trial, so the handler still believes their dog finds odor without it being paired. And then the other time is at trial, right? I want to build the expectation that they're going to get the bunny every time. They're going to get the prey, okay? All right. The one thing that I have noticed, most dogs with, probably because of domestication and because of genetics picking, most dogs within the sport of nose work, the weakest area in the three components of prey would probably be guard, but in the reference to make it really important for us in reference to nose work would be the second portion, which is capture. So I'm always trying to get the most out of the dog, and I'm trying to get the dog to really keep deep into the instinctual behavior. So there's little things that you can do to enhance the capture portion. The other thing that I can tell you this from working overseas and working long hot days on running dismounted patrols and searching. I love labs. I really do. I like how they hunt. I like their demeanor. I like the nature. I like how they think. The problem in reference to about labs is that they're second by genetics. Capture is very limited, and really they have very little guard. Hence, they're a Labrador Retriever, right? So it's delivered to hand. Same with Golden Retrievers and so forth. And a lot of other dogs are the same way. The capture portion seems to be the weakest portion. So what I try to do is to get the most out of the dog, to get the most out of prey. I try to periodically enhance as much as possible every element of their prey drive, right? So capture. How do I enhance the capture portion? Well, I like to make some engagement during the find, during actually sourcing. So the more, and I can do things like take a piece of paper, right? Fold it in half. Cover up the hide, so when the dog goes in and finds it, he has to push the paper out of the way. To have some engagement, just a little bit more interaction to actually get the pairing or to get the bunny, right? So that is a great way of bringing out the most of your dog, right? So here's an example. This is a really nice dog, and this is really simple. Dog engages in hunting really nice here. Hunting really nice. Good searching behavior. Oh, there's odor back there a little bit. Definitely an odor. Nice hunt. Nice pursuit. Oop. And now dog has to flip open the box and have some engagement, right? That's driving all the way. So look at the second trial, how much faster the dog pushed in, right? That's a great example. Another thing you can do is if you're just doing boxes or whatever, is that you can manipulate the position of the boxes. I like to do a box in a box. If anybody watched my webinar on inaccessible hides, you know that that's very common for me to do. So here's another, oops, I duplicated the slide. Here's another example of a little bit of manipulation on the capture that brings some excitement out of it. So the opening is actually in the back. So now the dog's having to push around, trying to find a way, and watch this. As it's rooting around, guess what? Oh, it's not in that box. Of course, there's probably some lingering there. The box actually tipped out, and now the dog has to work its way around to have success at it, right? So look at all the intensity that's starting to be brought up, right? Great example of some little, just slight little tweaks you can do to make some excitement out of that, right? So that's two examples with boxes. There's other things you can do. Even if you did like on a car, the hides in the wheel well, whatever. Put a piece of paper over the tent, so the dog has to flip up the paper to get to the source. Be creative, but try to make some engagement at source so you get the most out of the second portion. So you start enhancing the second portion of the prey drive. Here's another replay of the video again. Nice little hunt happening. Box rolls over, pairing stays with it, the hides are there, stop the hunt, now has to find a way back in again. This is all engagement with source, right? This is, not only is it great about driving the source, but it's really reinforcing the second portion. Alright, so that was a quick cap of that. Here's something to ponder. I'll let it be and I'll just let you read on your own.